Hello, sports fans. This is Charles Kelly with the Lancero Life. Today, we're going to be reviewing the epic Corojo. Here's what that baby looks like. And what we're doing is a beautiful Lancero. I think it's 7 1/4 by 40. I smoked my first epic cigar last year in 2016. And the epic line produced the Maduro and the Corojo both in 2014. Since the two lines came out, they both had the same filler at one point. Both were Dominican binders and Dominican fillers. The difference was the wrapper. I think the wrapper on the this is an Ecuadorian Corojo wrapper for the Corojo. The Maduro had, I think, a Brazilian or Cameroon wrapper. I can't remember. And since I'm not reviewing it, I'm not going to get into details on that right now. But the Epic Maduro was my favorite new cigar of 2016. So I decided I'm going to go and take a leap of faith and get this Corojo down and tell you what I think of it. Now, I'm going to tell you folks, I am a cigar enthusiast is what I'll call myself. I am not a cigar expert. In fact, I go to many different sites to get the details and stuff that I find on cigars. One of the best is Half Wheel. Half Wheel does deep dive into cigars, and I highly recommend that as a site you go to, not just for cigar reviews, but news and industry stuff on cigars as well. Of course, there's also Cigar Aficionado, but there are plenty of guys online that smoke cigars that give you detailed history of blenders and things like that. Half Wheel is one. I like to share my experiences with the cigars, and for those of you who aren't familiar with these guys, I'll give you something else to go on. Number of different tobaccos go into this cigar. Smoking it, it's a lot different than the Epic Maduro, which, even though I said I was going to talk about, I'll probably wind up talking about a lot because it is a crazy good cigar. Earthy, woodsy, but flavorful cigar. The thing that I find with the Epic line of cigars is they really give you a lot of the full body flavor you come to expect from Nicaraguan cigars. In fact, I have to say right now, my two favorite companies producing cigars out of Nicaragua, or out of the Dominican Republic, I should say, are Epic, as well as La Flor Dominicana. Dominican tobacco doesn't traditionally have that full powered punch and kick that you typically associate with Nicaraguan, especially Esteli tobacco. But this gives you a good full-bodied flavor without, punching the head. I got the light on here and the dome light in the corner. You can see it's got a beautiful, nice kind of reddish hue to this binder. It's a well-constructed cigar. It's burning fairly evenly. The ash is staying on, even though we're not, drawing on it real heavy. It's got a nice smooth draw. And I've said this in other videos. One of the reasons why I like Lanceros is because you really, down here in Center City during rush hour, you really get to see how well a wrapper complements the binder and filler. And like I said, this is an Ecuadorian Corojo. I think I got that right. And so you really get some of that, the flavor of that, which adds a little bit more complexity. And that's the thing I like about my cigars. I like complex flavor. I'm going to have to do a review of that Maduro because it's fantastic, and I'm sorry, I'm really trying to resist the urge to go through and talk about what that cigar is. $8 cigar. The cigar probably lasts you a good 45 minutes to an hour, depending on, you know, what you have going on, and how quick a draw. But one of the things I would say about Lancero is a cigar that you really want to take your time, because, you know, thinner cigars get hotter than, you know, larger ring gauges. And what you tend to do when you overdraw or draw too fast on a Lancero is you will heat up the tobacco too quickly, and you really change the characteristics of the taste, and you're not going to get what the blenders are intending for you to get out, you know, from the flavor profile. So you take your time. Also, be aware that when you get the same cigar and you get different vitolas, it's okay that they taste different to you. They're going to. When you change the size of a cigar, the ratios of the tobacco will naturally change. I don't care what you try to do, the fatter the cigar you get, in my opinion, the less importance the wrapper is going to be, because no matter how fat the cigar is, you just can't get the same ratio of wrapper tobacco to a cigar in a Lancero that you're going to get in a Gordo, like a 6x60. It is physically impossible to do. So if you get a cigar and somebody tells you it's great, it is important that you identify and ask for the vitola, you know, because the vitola is going to change. And also, when you smoke a cigar, you experiment with the vitolas too. You might not like a cigar in a specific size. You change the size of the stick, and you might find gold. I'm trying to make sure that you can see that label there. This is the Epic Corojo. So don't be afraid to experiment. For the new folks out there, you always want to buy 1 or 2 cigars before you really want to jump in there and buy a bottle, you know, buy a box. See how the cigar ages over time. See if it changes. Buy 1 or 2. If you have a humidor, put one in your box, smoke one now, smoke one later, and see how it changes. Cigars age. They age like wine. Some age well, some age poorly. Part of the blending process with these cigar manufacturers, they put a blend together that might taste great when they initially put the blend together and smoke it. But as these tobaccos sit and marry together, there's a chemical reaction going on. You've got 3 products that grow out of the ground, leaf, a filler, a binder, and a wrapper, sometimes from 3 different areas, sometimes from 3 different, you know, areas within the country, sometimes from 3 different countries. And they might not work well together. So, you know, you're blending. These guys are blending tobaccos. All the leaf in here doesn't come off the same plant. You don't get the filler, binder, and the wrapper from the exact same tobacco plant. So all of these things matter in terms of what your experience is going to be like when you get a cigar and smoke it. So give them a chance. Take the time to learn also where your leaf comes from. When you get a cigar and you taste it and you like it, try to figure out where it's from, where it's grown, where it's rolled, you know, the characteristics of the tobacco. And in that way, when you go to find something else, I mean, that's a good starting point for you. If you like Nicaraguan cigars, start with other Nicaraguan cigars. If you like cigars with a certain type of wrapper, go to cigars with different type of wrapper. It's kind of Same things that I learned in wine courses and cheese courses. If you're going to serve a cheese course, you can serve different kinds of blue cheese, or you can serve different kinds of cow's milk cheese in, one plate or one sitting. You don't go all over the place. You don't serve a cheddar and a blue and a goat cheese. They have nothing in common for the taster to enjoy. You kind of want to use different kinds of things, but have some similar characteristics, and that way develop your palate and know what some of those subtle differences are. I know I'm bringing a food reference to cigars, but we're talking about natural products that you put in your mouth and taste. So a lot of the principles for food and wine absolutely apply to cigars. So try them out. It's moving more into the mild category right now, I would say, or milder. Just kind of mellowing out. It's putting out loads of real thick smoke. And a good burn. These are all characteristics of a fine cigar. So, if you've never tried the Epic Blend, I don't know if they've ever rated highly on Cigar Aficionado or anything like that. But for me, Epic puts together a very fine product. I encourage you to try it. You're not paying $15, $16 for a cigar. It's a good cigar for you to try. This is a good cigar. Wouldn't rate in my top 25 or anything, but something I absolutely wouldn't mind keeping in my box that I can enjoy. Even during a dress up, because as you can see, the ash is staying intact. So this is a cigar that I would not mind smoking in a suit, which is a big plus. But an enjoyable smoke. So hope you enjoyed this review. Please visit my website at thelancerlife.com. The information on the website is below. Subscribe so that you can be a part of future video updates on my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining. Talk to you later.